Vijay, that there's this whole concept of 40 knots.
Yeah.
And when you told me very little about it last time, so I'd love to go a little bit deeper into this. What are the 40 knots?
Okay.
And how is this connected to our money story?
Okay. So we all have, if you see the traditional Indian grandmas and the generations at that time and before that, if you they used to always have those money which was tied up in handkerchiefs, and they used to keep it with them. And whenever you required money, they used to open up this knot and they used to give money and then again put that knot back in and knot it and keep it back again. So basically, money is always kept in wraps, right? Anywhere in the world, if you see, we do not flaunt our money openly. We do not count our money in front of other people. We always keep our money absolutely safe in our lockers, in our wallets, and we do not wish to show. And in fact, there is an Indian tradition. If anybody, you shouldn't ask you shouldn't ask what's the age of a girl, and you should not ask the boy or the man as to how much he's earning, isn't it? So basically, it all stems up from that particular thing, that money is always not just kept hidden, it is always hidden. So basically, these knots, these are all unresolved money blocks that are there in our consciousness. So any incident which is left unresolved or incomplete or unfinished, or it has not happened to your liking, to our liking, it creates an accumulation of this discrepancy of energy, which results in a money knot. So basically, if you have not lived any particular situation, any transaction which has not ended properly, or anything in your life wherein it has not gone the way you like. For example, from 2020, when the lockdown started and when the corona came, there was a lot of insecurity, and still people are carrying that in their consciousness. There was so much insecurity into people. People thought, people having so many crores, they were also thinking, what next? What tomorrow? So that insecurity, it crept in. So that actually created a knot. So basically, if you see, there have been so many incidents. We are not here from this birth. We all know that we are there since 400, 500 odd births. We are there. So there have been a million of thoughts which have gone into us, isn't it? There are all these beliefs when things have not worked for us. The negative beliefs that, oh, will it happen? Will it work for me? So all these things, the fears, the biggest of fears or the gravest of fears, the trauma, whenever something has not happened, that always leaves back an energy, a residual energy, which is called a trauma, something which happens suddenly. So probably some loss which happened in your life, probably 8 years back, that has left a very deep trauma into you. Right now, you might see in a balanced state, but then it is that trauma, that shock, which is there as a knot in your consciousness, as a money knot in your consciousness. Until the time you do not open it or release it, it is going to stop the incoming flow of money also into your life. So it is basically all these things. The past life karma also is a knot. The ancestral issues which you face, or possibly the anger issues, the relationship issues, all these things, the way you are born, all these things, they constitute to form each knot. And if you look into people who are below the poverty line, in whichever country they are, people can do up till a maximum of 40 knots also. But then if you look at a normal person who is, okay, kind of a little bit struggling with money and things like that, these people can have 10, 15, 20 major knots in their consciousness. Until the time you do not release these knots, the abundance cannot come in. And that is where, if you see, you might be doing a lot of work, a lot of money work, but then the thing is that these knots have been left unopened, and it is here that poses as a major challenge, or that does not allow things to fructify or things to manifest. So these money knots, they define your money destiny.
So is it that, Vijay, that the trauma has to be linked to money, like it has a financial impact or a negative financial experience? You know, somebody cheated somebody out of money or in business, and that becomes a knot. Or is it any emotional trauma can be a knot, can be a financial knot?
Any emotional trauma can be a financial knot. For example, if you have if there is a person who is very impatient,
Mhm.
such people, they will always face losses in their money words. If there are people who have anger issues, these people, they will always, whatever money comes in, uh, it will go away with that much speed. So of course these emotions, they also form knots in our consciousness. So you have to actually look into it, and then you have to release these particular knots as you come across them.
But my God, Vijay, like an average person goes through so many hardships in life. How is it only 40 knots? I can think, my God, I would have like accumulated at least 400 knots by now.
Yeah, so when we talk about 40 knots, these are 40 major knots. Now there
Okay.
are things wherein incidents, they trigger you to more incidents. So generally that is always counted as one major knot. So we are
Okay.
looking at major knots. That way, so there might be hundreds of knots each person carries. So we
Hmm.
are looking at absolutely major knots which you're carrying at this point of
Okay.
time.
And is it that you have to address these knots with very specific work, or is it that you can do all the other types of healing work as well? So, for example, if I'm thinking about emotional knots, emotional trauma, if I've been working on, let's say, grief, or if I've been working on loss, something like that, um, would that help?
It will help, but the most important thing is everything is very specific. If you see Arjuna, why he was successful, because, and we all know the story of the Mahabharata, wherein he could only see the eye of the bird, and
Yeah.
everybody, all the other people, all the other archers who came in, they were able to see the tree, they were able to see the birds and
Yeah.
everything around, right? Isn't
Yeah.
it? So when you are specific, it
Hmm.
absolutely happens spot on.
Ah, okay. Okay. That really helps to understand. Okay.